Is your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday flagship podcast, 2 minutes past 1. Exciting times to be with you. Before we get any further, Prediction League, I want to give a big shout out to Duncan Wells and Damien Knight. They smashed it this week. Damien Knight was the highest riser that I've seen in a long time. But as per usual, Man City Norwich was the most points given to players. Norwich love to give points away, don't they? Literally to football clubs, to our Prediction League players. They just give them away. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit subscribe. It'll be the best thing you do in 2022. I can say that bit already. And Colin Plum is in the chat. The GOAT, the Oracle, the knowledge giver, Stephen Parry. Two positive people, Stephen and Colin. You'd like to sit in a room for an hour with them. It could be on fire and they'd still say everything's okay. Mark Rattle, good afternoon. Just note after yesterday, MK, 9 points ahead. Next 6 games are Sunderland, Charlton, Bolton, Rotherham, Cheltenham, Wigan on paper, and we should close the gap. Absolutely. Well, I like that, Mark. I like that. I like the way that's a good way of thinking of it. Lee Brown, afternoon, everyone. Good to see everyone yesterday. Yeah, over 7,000 Town fans making the trip to MK is to be well applauded. I know I've seen it all over social media, all the away day accounts saying what great support it was, and it truly was. So if you did go, give yourself a round of applause. Kieran McKenna says we just shaded it. Well, let's see what this man felt. He is, of course, the one, the only. Just shaded it, Mr. Moss. Without going into too specifics this early in the show, is he correct?
I thought a draw was fair. If you look at the stats, they had more shots on target than we did, Martin. Our goalkeeper was probably the more busier of the two. So I think a draw was a fair result. We had more possession than them without ever really... It was, Colin, you're wrong. It was 53%, not 55, 53% for Town.
45.
So
regardless,
look, it was a really good away performance. Two good sides. The pitch was poor. The support was great. But I'll tell you what.
What was awesome. Yeah.
Well, it was good because there was nearly 7,000, 6,850. But the atmosphere at Doncaster on Tuesday was better. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Yeah. Do you know what I didn't particularly like was the fucking inflatables. It's such tin pot when you've got beach balls in the first 5-10 minutes of games on. Like, I don't mind big games, like a playoff final.
I was hanging my flag up at the front. Matt Stannard was there and he helped me with his wife tie it up. And his two little boys had got beach balls given to him. And I just went in my pocket and got out my pin. But I didn't pop them because I don't want to be a killjoy.
Hox's comment here. Did you want to shed any light on that one?
Not really. Hox was at he was watching Chesterfield yesterday. They drew 1-1 down at Weymouth, and he said the officials were some of the worst officials he's ever seen, and there was a really, really bad injury for the Chesterfield striker. Yeah, he broke his ankle really badly.
And then they ended up conceding in the added time as a result of it, didn't they?
Yeah, he said that their heads are gone because it was an awful injury. He said one of the worst injuries he's ever seen. And he was on about the officials. And I said to him, look, they're bad in League One. As you get lower down the leagues, Martin, you know what they're like. They're probably getting paid, 60 quid, 70 quid a game? Mm-hmm. Not great.
It all happens around Jordan, doesn't it? Because last week, I think he saw one of the best non-league goals there's ever been.
Where was that away? The volley was incredible. I think that was at Eastleigh. He went to Eastleigh.
It
Easter.
was. If basically, if you're at a game with Jordan, just expect fireworks because the guy obviously chooses the best games of the week, which sadly we don't all do the same regularly. Does he go to Portman Road, Jordan? Because I'd love to.
Yeah, he's got a season ticket, but
he's
he's big mates with Loachy. Obviously,
yeah, I know.
Town plays in goal for
Facebook.
Chesterfield, so he goes and supports him. So fair play.
Budding bromance. Right, you may have gone yesterday and not seen it. You may have already looked at it. Either way, this is the live league table. Ipswich Town currently sitting in 9th position. Maybe you just make that a little bigger. After all, it is Valentine's Day. 9th position.
Losing. 1-0
yeah, Wednesday currently losing to Rotherham, who are runaway leaders at this point. 48. So, no ground really lost, but a good opportunity missed, you could say, from yesterday's result.
Yeah, but I think you can look at it both ways. I think, Martin, we could have got 2 points. We could have lost it in that last minute. Scott Twine with a free kick. So all in all, I think we're happy. Yeah. They seemed happy with a point as well. I listened to Liam Manning's interview afterwards. Really interesting. So he's been interviewed by they're all there, not just the local press. He does like an interview on the side of the pitch, and they're all asking him questions. Just a little pointer towards Town. And if you're watching it, Marcus Nash, why can't Martin be there with his phone recording, asking a question?
I wasn't even at the game yesterday.
No, I'm just saying. I'm at Portman Road. I'm saying at Portman Road. When he does.
They can't handle the heat the Gov brings. You see, I can't be trusted. I'm a live wire.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Why can't you let me in? That gif. Let me in. Let me in. Right. He went to his first away day in about 20 years yesterday. He's not stopped talking about it. In fact, he even found the grainiest photo taken on the.
We were in that area somewhere. I couldn't see where we were, but he circled it, didn't he?
He's like a bloke who's on a tourist day out. He stuck a circle around it and says, "We are there." It is, of course, the most. Microwave camera. That's what it's taking, right?
It wasn't my first away day in 20 years. I was at Southend 2019, the 3-1.
Sorry, your first one in 2 years, which is with the pandemic, I guess. How was it then? Your first away day of the year?
It's all right. It's good. It was good being sat next to the Crunch and the Crunch Bunch. That was good. We saw Lee Brown. We saw Matt Stannard. Big shout out to, was it Natalie come and saw us, Rich, at half time?
Yeah. Colin was there. 5 points in.
Yeah.
5 points in, Colin.
Colin said he had 5
We had an exchange during the full time show on WhatsApp. He's so positive, is Colin. He's so positive. As is Mr. Perry, as I said at the start of the show.
I'm not sure, right? So Colin rang me on the way home, and I was 10 minutes away from dropping the boys home. Matt was home at 7:30. They were still stuck in traffic in Milton Keynes. Mark Rattle texted me this morning. I've just got home for a laugh. But what time did you get home, Colin? Because I don't know what way you went. I went out the back way.
Got a few drinks, didn't you? Let's be honest. I don't think I'm actually this pale today. I think it's the light.
Yeah, you look great.
But it could be the fact that I am pale. I don't know. I've not felt. You've not heard from me for the last 24 hours. You were about to set up some fires, weren't you?
Worried.
You had a lot of well wishes yesterday, Martin, from people. Big shout out to the couple and their friend Colin, who come into the queue with us, Rich. Watch the show every week. The guy, the husband said if he watches any more Talking Town in 1 week, he feels like he could get divorced. Loves the show.
Because
wished you well.
We are live tomorrow on Valentine's Day as well, so we are going part way to
and I'm not going to reveal the name, but I've just lined up a massive guest for the podcast.
It's massive, huge, Ian. But yeah, tomorrow Valentine's Day, we've got a bumper team. We're going through biggest sporting heartbreaks. I want to know what your biggest sporting heartbreak was tomorrow. Forget the lovely.
Who have you got on tomorrow with you? Who's allowed out to play tomorrow night?
I've stitched TJ, Neil, and Callie up. So they're all going to get divorced in the following proceeding months.
I bought Richard Bovril yesterday.
Lovely Bovril.
Yeah, it was good. It was your perfect stadium, Mike, because it's obviously newish, isn't it? I mean, it's been around a few years. Padded seats, great view, massive toilets, kiosks without queues. We thought this was your vision for this new stadium you'd like to see one day.
Possibly, yes. I did note the padded seats when I noticed Matt Stannard on every corner.
Rich took to standing on his padded seat at the end to give everyone a round of applause.
For a fucking 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great at the end. It was fantastic when they all came over and Kieran was giving it the.
Yeah, he was done. Yeah, McKenna was doing
fans.
it. Yeah, it was great.
He said
yeah.
I listened to his interview, Matt, and he was quite like I think he was. They were blown away. I think genuinely, like he said, he was really, really humbled by that sort of support. And you think, like I said to you in the game, we're in the third tier, over 20 years without doing anything, and we've got that support, and we take fans, we take thousands wherever we go. It's just waiting to just lift off.
Yeah.
It is.
What I will say about the away support, which is very interesting to me, because I did a lot of away games in that first and second year of the Premier League, not so much since. But how emotionally invested people are in that one present second. Like Morsy loses the ball, C-bomb. Ref makes a mistake. He's a nonce. I was just like, chill out. Yeah, this is like the first 5 minutes.
He was a shit. He wasn't a very good ref.
Out a little bit, right?
I gave him a 4 yesterday. I wrote down 4. I thought there was one instance when Macaulay Bond got literally mugged on the 18-yard line. The ball went 10 yards further the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Wickham threw himself on the ground like he'd been shot. And the referee gave a free kick. I was like, that's my struggle to get mugged to have a free kick these days. It was a shocking referee.
I just wonder if all these people are like that angry in normal life. Like they got to queue up at the news agent or whatever.
I'd love to have gone, but the next time I want to get ambushed by lemons, it's a playoff final, not at MK Dons away.
Do you know what? As I was driving home yesterday on the M1, which has now become my favourite motorway. Everybody,
he's done it
great.
Once,
4 lanes, beautiful. I think we'll go back there in the playoffs if we make it. I felt like it was a good 0-0 yesterday. It was entertaining. It feels like there's another chapter to that story somewhere.
Yeah, Ipswich Jules is spot on. I need that disclaimer on the screen. All thoughts and sayings and everything else is their own doing. It's not me. It's not the network. Views are their own.
Also, like we said yesterday, we see a few lemons. Oh, 2-0. 2-0, Rotherham. There you go.
Oh, good. Pipe down.
We see a few lemons yesterday who are real vocal and have given me and Matt a lot of stick on social media. You see them in the flesh, and they're hiding behind their misses.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Phones. Very pasty looking. I'm going on a sunbed, lads.
Yeah.
Maybe change your diet.
I can't comment with this lighting system at the moment, can I really?
Yeah, that's what made us think of it.
I look like Casper the Friendly Folk Ghost, but today I feel very unfriendly. So one of his brothers.
Well, speak to us next time. Got plenty to say on Twitter.
I wouldn't advise that. They did that to me. It wasn't great. I will be honest. Right. 1 point gained or 2 points dropped. I did tweet before I collapsed on the sofa yesterday. I couldn't quite decide how I felt because on the one hand, I felt they were there for the taking. It was 2 dropped, particularly with results going other ways in other locations. But we've used the whole squad. We'll come to Jackson, I'm sure. We've shown flashes of quality and we've gone away to a playoff contender and got a point.
Yeah.
How do you both see it? I've heard a little bit from Rich. Let's start with you then, Matt. 1 point or 2 drops?
We were discussing this as we were taking the flag down yesterday. I feel like it was a good point, actually. I don't think we dropped 2 points there because I don't ever feel like we were going to score particularly. I know Jackson had that really good chance at the keeper save, but as me and Rich were saying throughout the game, we just didn't quite have that clinical edge to us to convert the chance. We had plenty of the ball and Burns was lively and Lewington was getting some grief off the fans, wasn't he? He looked about 20 stone at 30 and 37 years age. And he's got a bar named after him in the stadium, Lewington.
They protect him well tactically, don't they?
Yeah, because he's got 2 22-year-olds next to him in that 3.
Yeah.
And he's nearly as old as them combined. But, yeah, I mean, look, Burns was our chance, I think, going up against him, beating for pace and get the ball in. But it never felt like we were going to score, wasn't it, Rich? That's what we kind of felt, really.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed because he was on a yellow, wasn't he, second half? And I thought, right, 37-year-old, aging defender. He's on a yellow card. Let's really put the pressure on him. And we didn't. And so we've had 9 games. We've scored 11 goals under McKenna. I think the last 7 goals have all been scored by people other than our central striker, which I still think is moving forward. I'm not this season. It could hamper us this season to get to the playoffs because I think we need whoever. He's probably going to change it up again at Burton for the home game. I would have thought. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what you two think if he goes for a 2 at home. You know, more of a goal threat maybe on the pitch, but I still think that's the area of the pitch where look, Bond's struggling. I thought Jackson was excellent yesterday, Martin. And I know before the game, a lot of people, why is he playing? He's shit, blah, blah, blah. You look at his performance for 76 minutes, I thought £10 in the chat.
Oh, Paul P, thank you very much. That was me and the missus lit in the queue yesterday. Good to meet you.
There you go.
Thank you very much. There you go, Paul
They
P.
enjoyed the Craig Forest show. Yeah, it's good to meet you guys. Good to meet you.
But I thought he was a real pest, and he they like to play out from the back, don't they, MK? And they didn't really do that yesterday because I thought Jackson was really busy. I thought he held the ball up. Look, I don't think he's a lone striker. He played that sort of when we got relegated that season. It doesn't really suit his game. I thought yesterday he was excellent. He brought other people into the game. And I thought when they brought Bon and Norwood on, you think you're making 2 changes there, Martin, to go and win the game. I thought both of them were really poor. You know, they didn't really get into. And I know it's sometimes hard to get into a game like that. You know, you've only got a short space of time, but they didn't really. The other night as well, when Norwood come on at Doncaster, he didn't really take his chance. So Jackson's done himself no end of good with that performance yesterday. I think. I thought that was one of his best games I've seen for a long while in the Town shirt for him. I don't know what everyone else thinks. They might think no, he didn't do a lot, but I thought he played really well.
I think he was okay. It's a difficult role for him to play in it, that one up top. He also had like Selena and Chaplin buzzing around him. And I said to Colin and Lee Brown at half time, I felt like maybe Chaplin was the weak link in that little area. I thought he might have gone off a little bit earlier than what he did, Connor. But I mean, he did all right. But I still feel like we needed that second striker in there somewhere. He did all right, Jackson. But again, I don't feel like, the keeper made a great save. But it was difficult for him. I think.
I was really impressed with him.
Football either, is he? He's not had much football either, particularly.
No, I was really impressed with him. I thought he ran the channels quite well. He pressed, he harassed. Yeah. He did everything that you would want to do and we nearly got him in behind once, which is what I think the game plan particularly was. He sort of snapped at his chance a little bit. I think that was a lack of game time, eagerness to get that goal.
Saved it, Martin.
Yeah.
Because if he's going to score on that side, it's got to be a hell of a shot to beat the goalkeeper. It's a good save by the goalkeeper, but look, any decent goalkeeper at this level is going to save it. He's got to really go across.
I think he got into that position and he got like Joe Pigott would do at this point of the season. You get in that position and you've not scored. You got to work hard for your place in the team, and he just sort of snatched it. It came too quickly to him, and he snatched. Yeah. I think he won it back, with the touch because he had plenty of time. He wasn't really challenged, but yesterday the boys gave him a 6 or a 7. I think he's at that point of his Town career, Matt, where unless he lays 3 goals or scores 3 goals every time he plays, people are going to say what they say about him.
Caden?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you watched McKenna interview after the game, he's really pleased with him. He says he trains well, he's got a great attitude. A lot of people were sort of musing over the point that could any of these strikers that we've got at the club currently be there at the start of August later this year for the new season. So I don't know. But I mean, Caden obviously has good attitude. We've said it before, haven't we? I mean, Rich said it. He was isolated with the 23s under other regimes, come back in, hasn't seen much football. Only 2-3 years ago, when we started the pod, he was our player of the year, wasn't he, Rich? After that,
It was like I said when we were talking outside, Matt, and that you said the last away game you went to was Southend away. Him and Norwood were up front, and I think they both scored that day. Yeah,
they did, yeah.
And he was potent in that league. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Jackson at the end of the season, because obviously he's out of contract. But McKenna has spoken glowingly about him and training. And you cannot do anything but praise Martin, his attitude. He's got his head down. He's probably thinking, I'm probably 4th choice, and he's got some game time. And if he stays at the club or he doesn't, he showed the right attitude going forward for me. I've said before on air when they said about his attitude, it's easy for footballers nowadays to sulk, get your head down. Yeah. And I think if he'd have been like that and he wasn't good around the group, I think McKenna probably would have shipped him out in January because it wouldn't have been good for the team spirit. But he showed that he's got his head down, he's trained well, and who knows what will happen in the remaining 14 games, But he does need a few goals because otherwise, I do agree with Martin, people will say we've seen enough of him over the 3 years. And I agree with Curtis there in the chat. Macaulay Bont, I would not be signing him if it was anywhere more than...
In the League One top goal scoring charts, Crunch. 7th.
1 goal in 19 games. 1 goal in 19 games.
Yeah, one goal in.
Don't
How many actual chances has he had in those 19?
We're letting our hearts rule our heads a little bit with him because he's an Ipswich boy. He should have had a hat-trick on Tuesday night. He missed two absolute sitters on his head.
The header particularly. What came up in yesterday's show, which is quite an interesting question I'll ask both of you, because we were talking about Macaulay Bonne and the strikers not scoring goals. And it was all, I said, well, they're not getting chances, just as I have done there. Somebody in the chat, I can't remember who, so I do apologise for you when you watch this, if you're not watching it live, said you can't have assists without people scoring goals. It's almost like the chicken and the egg situation. Have we got players creating chances that the strikers are fluffing, or have we not got people creating chances for the strikers to even fluff? Because as you said yesterday at the start of the show, Rich, you don't think we had as many chances as MK Dons did. So
yeah, it is. It's them little.
Which
there
is
was
it?
a couple of times there, even when I think Norwood was on with Bonne, and I can't remember. I think Bonne went to play a through ball, pretty easy pass. It's them little fine details. But like I said the other night, Selena, everyone said at Doncaster, Selena didn't have a good game. Yet he laid two absolute sitters on the for Macaulay Bonne on his head, and he didn't score. But
you see, I look at that, and I don't think there's many, if any, I would choose over Bonne. I said this in yesterday's show, Matt. My issue is the fact when you go to the top assists, there isn't a single Town player inside that list. And it's quite a fucking big list, to be honest. That's an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I mean, it does come down to that sort of lack of creativity that we've seen over a lot of the season, I suppose. What we are beginning to see with McKenna's side is like a really organised team. Look at Morsy yesterday, who I thought was probably man of the match, and I think Rich was leaning that way as well. He effortlessly went slightly back into the side. I thought he played really, really well for someone who had been out for 4 games. And, he was driving forward with that ball. Easily, could have set someone up for a goal. But yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, are we saying that a lot of our goals this season have just been in terms of, because we have scored a few goals. We were saying before we came on here, didn't we? The 4-0s, Portland and Gillingham, the 4-1 at Wickham, 6-0 with Donny. Are we saying that these are just a lot of individual goals?
I was looking earlier now on SofaScore.
We're not seeing enough.
5 crosses. We only put 5 crosses in the box yesterday. We don't put enough crosses in. If you're a striker, Selena, apart the other night, he put 2 in for Bonne. Yeah. We don't score enough from crosses. I was watching the Rotherham Sheffield Wednesday game here. 19 set-piece goals Rotherham has scored. I said to you yesterday when we had 6-7 corners yesterday. We never looked like scoring from a set-piece.
No.
These are all parts of the game that we have to improve. We've got some good headers in the book. George Edmondson, Luke Wolfenden, they can all attack the ball from a corner. But when you put a corner in, it's got to be quality.
Yeah. Are we not scoring enough team goals? Is what that stat kind of tells me.
Yeah, possibly. Yes, possibly.
We've scored some goals because look at Bonne at MK Dons at Pullman Road. I mean, that ball came convincingly unstuck over the top and he smacked it into the net. Fantastic goal, that wasn't it? But
Stephen says corners were good, but we came close once. See, I was reading an article the other day in the Athletic about Brighton, who have employed an actual set piece specialist. He was a recruitment analyst. He's now there. I think you've got to start. It's a good opportunity, and I kept saying this under Mick in the Championship. When the budgets are stretched, let's say Mick had a really low budget compared to a parachute team. The one thing you've all got in common is you should all be able to do a good set piece, regardless if you've got millions in the bank or 0 in the bank. And and look at Wimbledon. Talking of the Dons, they made seasons, cup runs, etc., all out of set pieces. They were famous. If you considered a corner to Wimbledon, you were a goal down almost. It was that sort of level of psychological.
Curtis makes a really good point there. If you can see that one mine about the time when we had Berra and Smith.
Yeah, there you go.
We scored a lot of goals, didn't we, from corners? Twinkett getting loads of stick, didn't he, when he come over to us? Only like 22. Everyone dropping a seed before him. But, I mean, his delivery was great. Often we see a lot of our set pieces from corners fail to clear that first man.
He had one first half, didn't he? That got cleared away for another corner, hit the first man, and that was it.
Generally, his delivery was pretty good, as you would expect, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You would have thought Selena would be able to do that, really?
To Morsy or Selena, because they're both on the list.
Yeah.
Do you think it's tactically? a tactical reason why the central striker isn't scoring? Do you think it's a tactical reason why we're not
Maybe.
putting enough crosses in? Because the style of play is into the feet of the central striker to the number 10, and we're playing more through the middle and intricate as opposed to more out and then in for crosses. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah. I would agree with that. I was thinking yesterday, we've seen so many changes, aren't we, game to game at the moment? 1 minute Piggott's in the team against Gillingham. Nowhere to be seen against Doncaster. Then he's at the game yesterday, but just warming up with the side, but not on the bench or anything like that.
He'll play mid Saturday.
Exactly. That's what we said. So I'm just wondering now whether or not, because we've always said Ipswich just need to have their style, their formation, and play their game. A bit like what Barcelona did with the false nine and all that when they've messed it.
Yeah.
And you've got to worry about them. But it seems to me now, McKenna is actually preparing his side to counter the strengths of the opposition. Because he said very much, didn't he? Because we was under pressure in the first 10 minutes yesterday. And he said, well, me and Martin made a couple of tactical tweaks, and suddenly we're back in it. I do think we're setting up now to try and expose the weakness of our opposition rather than this is how we play, deal with it. See what I mean? Which is why we're seeing so many changes game to game, and Jackson coming in from the cold, then will disappear again, just because it suited that particular opposition, I think. But certainly Morsy on the ball yesterday, there was a lot of play centrally, wasn't there? And it felt to me from where it's difficult to tell what the formation was where we were sitting, but it certainly felt to me like with Jackson as the one, and then the two were just behind him were Selena and Chaplin, and almost sort of.
Curtis has got a great comment there about Tariq Backinson.
Lee Evans and Tariq Backinson. Only difference is that Backinson runs like a newborn horse trying to stand up for the first time.
I didn't see yesterday much of Tariq Backinson's. Matt said on Friday his physicality.
Fuck off. Talk out of his arse.
I felt in that Doncaster game, he had a physical presence in there, and you didn't see it as much yesterday because Morsy took over that role. But I do think Backinson had a quiet game as well yesterday. And
would it surprise you to know he got a 5 from the match day ticket team?
Backinson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
really?
He didn't really do a lot.
What did he do wrong? He did have that moment, didn't he, Rich?
Well, he never gave a goal away when he turned into about 3 players and he got wrong.
Yeah.
He got yellow.
I don't agree with 5 out of 10. No way. I'd say 6. 5's harsh. But yeah, he did lose the ball and they could have scored from it, absolutely.
What did he do? Yeah, see, as Kelly says, Backinson was playing yesterday. Like, you've got to determine the role of the player and then judge him on that.
I can see why they've got Backinson in and stuck Harper out. Because Backinson does track back and make tackles and then just pass that simple ball. And he's a little bit older, I think, than Harper, and Harper's probably a little bit green, and has gone to Crewe to work on those elements of the game. You can tell Backinson's been around the block a little bit more than what Harper is, which I think is why he's in the team, and we sent him to Crewe.
Ipswich Jules, 5 was generous for me.
5. Jesus Christ, what's he done? What did he do wrong?
I'm just telling you what the team came up with.
No one thought he was awful when he scored against Doncaster on Tuesday night.
We're not grading Doncaster, though, are we, Matt? We're grading them K Dons. That's
game to game, isn't it? Fickle.
That's like saying no one thought Paul Cook was woeful when we were smashing Wickham. Bloke still got sacked. Bloke still not here. Like, it's irrelevant in that conversation. Nobody makes a great comment.
He still gave us 3 points Tuesday night.
Be interesting to see chances created stat rather than the actual assists. Nobody. I will have that for you. Hopefully by not this time tomorrow, but by the show tomorrow night, 7:30. I will make that my mission this afternoon to hunt down that to present it to you because it's a good point. Yeah. But on Sam Morsy, he got a 7. I thought he was cool. My last actual message to you both was Morsy, cool as a cucumber, 18-yard box, 2 MK Dons players bearing down on him. He just sees the game at a different speed. He is a championship player playing League One football, Rich. Whereas Backinson, that's why I think Backinson's being viewed through the lens he is, because you want to see that from him. If you had 2 players of that ability, you'd be creating a lot more chances, because every time Morsy receives the ball, he's got a plan. He's already 2 steps ahead. It's beautiful to watch when he's in full swing.
Sam Morsy. He was like a man possessed in that first half. He had 3 or 4 runs there, didn't he? He just sort of got the ball and he went, and then he just kept going. It showed. Look, he was determined yesterday. He's not played for the last 4 games. He's been chomping at the bit, and he came in there and he showed what a good player he is. He showed that he shouldn't really be playing in this league. You know, he is. I liked his interview on the Ipswich Town website. He's really positive. He said MK are not a bad side. He didn't say they're a good side, and he said he can't wait to get to Portman Road next Saturday. And look, I thought he really drove the team on well, and I think it puts to bed the absolute nonsense comments from, I think it was Ben Adams. I can't remember. I think it might have been the fisherman saying that he shouldn't be captain. Absolute bollocks, them two talked about him. You know, it's fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
That showed yesterday what a captain...
I don't know about Rich.
No, I'm saying that was fucking absolute nonsense comments. Saying he shouldn't be captain. Got promoted with Chesterfield. Got promoted with Wigan. He'll win promotion with Town. Might not be this season. If not this season, it'll be next season. You know?
Yeah, he's a great captain. We said at the time he could be the next Matty Holland for us, and I feel like he is, yeah. And he comes with more pedigree than Backington, to be fair. I mean, he has played for Egypt. He's been around some quality players. So he's got a little bit more seasoning around him than the others.
What I would say is neither person are here currently to defend themselves. So I'll try and speak on their behalf.
You can't, because there's nothing you can say, because it's utter fucking
No, I know.
bollocks.
I'm going for the pile of
bollocks, and you cannot stand up for that sort of comment. Look, I know everyone's got an opinion on here.
I've got to bring balance.
Opinion, but saying Sam Morsy shouldn't be captain,
you're
talking out your fucking arses, people. If you don't,
be thankful he is our captain.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
League One clubs would like him as their captain.
I don't agree with it, but what I think they were trying to say, particularly in the case of Ben, if I remember rightly, there was other candidates that maybe are more than applicable, more than capable. I'm sorry to take it on, such as George Edmondson. That's what I think he was saying. He wasn't literally saying that Sam Morsy was a bad captain. He was saying Sam Morsy, he's okay, but he felt George Edmondson would be a better captain. That's what I think he was saying, but I can't speak for him.
George Edmondson had the armband and his form went off the cliff.
Yeah, but this is before that point, so maybe Ben would have reviewed that.
Listen to me, and you won't go far wrong.
I'm not sure you can make those judgments unless you're actually in the training ground and in the dressing room day to day. We can only ever go on what we see on the pitch.
That's what fans do, isn't it? We make a judge. I mean, we make judgments on players within 10 minutes. Yeah. Leighton Durham's done it already. Backington reminds me of Great Williams. Shit. I mean, Great Williams from the halfway line. Come on. Yeah. Good old Geraint. Callis, on the show, on the days after on this show, what I thought, Ben and Mike knew. They certainly did. Edmondson proved he can't be a skipper. Hawks, Sam Morsy, brilliant captain, average player. Ooh.
You stick to watching Chesterfield, Hawks.
Yeah. Won't be last time Morsy suspension either the way he plays, yellow card.
Well, you did say that. Yeah. When he got one, it was the first off, wasn't it, Matt? And I said we knew he'd get a yellow card somewhere. It was about 80 minutes.
Right. We've got some time for some opinions. So not all will get on, but if you are then of course invited to tomorrow's show. But it's first come, first serve. Got enough for 2 people. Links down in the chat. 2 people. First come, first serve. While we're waiting for that, Bersant Selena. I will tell you what I think of Bersant, and then you two can tell me if I'm right, wrong, or how you saw it sat in the posh seats of MK. I thought it was absolute rhymes with right yesterday. I gave him a 4. I thought he was, for a player that's big time, for a player that you bring in to make things happen, for a player that you bring in 4 games like yesterday to be the difference, he wasn't. He didn't offer anything. And in fact, I'd go as far as to say McKenna made one of his poorer decisions yesterday when he took Chaplin off and not Selena. I felt then it was the wrong choice, and I feel now, 24 hours later, etc., it was still the wrong choice. How did you two sit in the posh seats?
Rich did think it was going to be Selena on that first sub, didn't you, Rich?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I thought both of them didn't play that well yesterday. I agree with James in the chat. He gives us a bit of thrust. He does.
Yeah.
He played the through ball for Jackson. It's like we saying when you want to look at that stat, possible assists. He can only lay it on a plate like he did with Bond the other night. But it is that you could say the same about Scott Twine yesterday. We didn't see him.
No.
Until
the very end.
And let's be honest, right at the very end, where was your heart? Because I know where mine was.
Oh, yeah.
Right in my mouth.
Yeah.
But
as soon as you struck it, we had a good view. You could see what one was going to save it. But yeah.
Yeah, I did say it at the time. This is almost sort of other sport because it's your best and their best. Because I would say Christian Walker's probably our best player at the moment.
Yeah.
And it was almost right. Your best versus our best. Let's see if you can
There
do
you
it.
go, Matt Willis in the cut. He's made 5 clear-cut chances over the last. There you go.
That's not good enough. That's not good enough. He's still not good enough.
What,
That's not good enough.
5 in 2 games is not good enough.
If you tell me over the last month, St. Selena, or last couple of weeks, St. Selena has lived up to the player you thought you were getting in League One, I'm going to tell you I think you're incorrect.
Is he playing with inferior players then? When he played under Mick,
I'm not having the Andre Dazelle conversation all over again.
No, not on about him. He had Martin Waghorn. He had players like that around him when he played under McCarthy.
True.
You know?
Quality players. Yeah.
I love Selena as much as anybody. I wanted Selena in the summer. I was desperate for him when he arrived. I was in seventh heaven. I just felt yesterday, Matt, that's the time I wanted to step forward.
I agree. Look, with James New there, 5 clear-cut chances in 2 games isn't good enough. You must be joking. I 100% agree with him. He can only create if them strikers are not doing their job and putting the ball in the net. Like the other night, Macaulay Bonne, 2 absolute sitters on his head. Selena, it's not his fault. But like Stephen Parry says in the chat, it's a team game. We shouldn't be just singling out individuals. You know, he might not be playing next Saturday against Burton. He might sit on the bench because Kieran might change it around again. And whoever comes
in 2 is a lot. One was Doncaster. Doncaster ship goals for fun. I'd like to review that tape of those.
Did they beat Sunderland away?
Yeah, well, Sunderland were in freefall. Like,
you can't.
Anyone could beat anybody, but the stat
you're just
says
making excuses. You're just making excuses saying, "Oh, it's only Sunderland who was sitting like 4th in the league."
Not at all. Not at all, Sunderland. But Doncaster have conceded 63 goals. Yeah. That's a fact. They ship goals for fun. What I would like to do, and I can't do it right now, obviously, is go back and review that tape of those clear-cut chances. Because for me, I want Selena turning on the ball and shooting. He's a fantastic long-range shooter. Were those clear-cut chances at the a betterment of a shot that he could have had? Because if the other players can't score and you're a better player, do it your fucking self.
But look, we've been debating this for about the last 6 weeks now. When I said I'd send it back to Dijon.
I won't go that far.
I just feel like, look, he's not going to be here next season, is he? Because we haven't got bang for our buck from him, have we? Paid a lot of money for him. We've obviously paid a loan fee for him. And for whatever reason, we don't know. We discussed Friday. Has he been fit throughout the season? He missed the pre-season over the summer. Again, I think it was a risk from Ashton to get him in because you didn't know how he'd recover from COVID and the heart issue he had. But yeah, you want him to rip it up in these games where it really counts. Like if we do make the playoffs, that's tailor-made for Selena, isn't it? To actually repay that money he's got from us. Because it's a hell of a lot of dough for the third sit. Hell of a lot. It doesn't really make business sense at all, really.
I don't understand why we're looking at the negatives yesterday, Martin, when it was a positive performance.
It was, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We've conceded
we've
4 goals.
Morsy, that was a positive. We've looked at Jackson, that was a positive. It can't all be positive because you didn't win.
Positive.
Well, yeah.
No, but you've taken a point against. Look, how MK Dons are 3rd in the table, God only knows. I thought they were pretty ordinary in actual fact.
Made them look.
I totally agree. Going back to Morsy, I agree with Hox in the comments, and I did say it before. Scouse, better player than Morsy. I totally stand by that. Played in the championship in a decent side under McCarthy.
I guess, yeah, if I'm going to say Bart is better than
players
because Bart played in the championship.
Morsey's played international football, as we just said earlier.
I've got to agree, I suppose. Yeah, I can't have the Bart conversation and have my cake and eat it too. Because Bart is better than Walton based on the fact Bart plays in the played and plays still in the championship. I saw Harry Butcher in the chat earlier say Walton's better than Bart. I'm going to say it now. That's what he said. Which,
it's just people's opinions, isn't it? I mean, that remains that Walton was a Premier League team. Walton was that Premier League team, wasn't it?
Walton's a good goalkeeper, but he's playing in League One at the minute.
He's playing really well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Selena is split in opinion. That is one of those things. We would have all taken a point before the game, Gov. No, we had this conversation pre-game. No, you rolled the dice.
People get too emotionally invested in Selena. He's never been an Ipswich player. Only ever been a loan player. Now, I feel like, if he really wanted to commit to the club, would he come to the club? But I mean, again, no money in the French league. They ain't going to sell him cheaply. And if we are in League One next season, he's not really proven it this year.
What's he got left on his contract at Dijon?
He's got a couple of years, I think.
A year or two, I think.
Yeah.
I like Selena. Yesterday I would like to have seen the player I know he can be, because he can be a fantastic player.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But 5 chances in 2 games, yes, that is quite a lot. I would like to look at the tape and see because he's got to start taking responsibility. For me, being a big time player, lead the team and take it on yourself if you have to. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes big players have to take it on themselves. And
well, you see it in the top end of the game, don't you? Your Salah, Mane, Ferran Torres, these are the players that step up in the big games, and and earning lots of money. And at the end of the day, we are paying lots of money for Selena, and he only really.
It's not his fault that we're paying him that money.
No.
No, exactly.
That's true. And Matt, it's a great point. He will deliver.
Selena fans, Hogs, but we just need to
run a game.
We need to see him.
Good point.
I've seen
all right.
He was the X factor to get us top 2, and we're not top 2.
Good point. But Gov, you could, yes, absolutely. Sam Morsy also needs to get to the 18-yard box and have a fucking shot. Great. What is up with Sam Morsy? Every time you think, right, you've done the hard work, now just hit it, and hit it through.
Do you think sometimes we try and score the perfect goal?
I think nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to be the one. They want blasts it 18 yards over and gets the.
I don't get that vibe from like Burns or.
No, Burns loves to have a shot. That's the one difference.
Yeah, I don't. Morsy's not really a goal scorer, though, is he? How many goals has he ever scored in his career? I mean, never scored any goals at all, did he?
You ain't going to win a lottery if you don't buy a fucking ticket, Matt.
I know.
He's got to eventually have a shot to even have a chance.
Yeah, true.
Like Cole Skuse was the same though. He'd get into position and he would lay it off instead of pull out a trigger.
Yeah,
it's a mentality thing, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's the role he's got from McKenna. Get the ball to the edge of the box, lay off to one of the attacking players.
Maybe it's a tactical thing. As James says, we keep trying to score the perfect goal. Harry, at least the players' points grew today. Thanks for Rotherham beating Wednesday. Yeah, right. Brilliant. Stephen Perry, how are you?
Hey, Steve, you all right?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I watched it early this morning. The atmosphere must have been buzzing. I could feel it just watching it. But it was like I was listening to your Selena point, and like I said, it is a team game. It's very easy to rag on one player, whether it's Morsy, whether it's Backinson. Backinson made a lovely through ball to Selena for that shot. Not many people. That was through an eye of a needle stuff, and it's like just he did that. That's it. Let's forget about it. Everything else he did was bad. Well, he wasn't that bad. I've seen worse. I think sometimes we're overcritical. We've seen players who have done brilliant things, and because someone's not doing that, they're not good enough. Well, and everyone is going, well, let's have Simpson play. Well, until he signs a contract, I don't want him anywhere near the first team because he doesn't deserve it. If he's not prepared to commit himself to the club, he's not prepared to. I don't want him playing for the club. It's as simple as that. He's got no right to play for the club. He's 19 years old. There's people like Jackson who's sitting there, who's got a lot more experience and are happy to sit on the bench and wait their turn. And he's stamping his feet. I'm 19. I've played a couple of games in League Two. I should play. No. We know what League Two's like. Look at Drinnan. He couldn't hit a barn door here. He goes to League Two. He scores for fun. So a few goals in League Two does not a League One strike a Mac.
Great.
They're playing hardball. They're playing hardball with him, Stephen. He's going to rot in the 23s. He could have signed his contract, stayed at Swindon, and had another 15, 20 games, got goals. He didn't want to sign his contract. Ashton's not going to be pissed about. There you go. Sit in the 23s.
Which is why. I ended up having a little bit of banter with Tristan Naden because I put some comments up about Tristan Naden working at Mackie at KFC, and then he put a picture of himself with his face over pet member of staff at KFC and sent it to me. So I had a lot of people took offence on his behalf.
Oh, careful! You got to be careful about having to go at people who work in fast food restaurants, aren't you, Matt?
Oh no, people took offence on Tristan Naden's behalf, and I was talking to him on DM, and he wasn't bothered. I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll take it down because some people are getting offended on your behalf." So I took it down, but it was like that. Sooner or later, he'll probably end up in non-league. And why? Because someone's telling him the wrong things. At 19, if you're not ready, you're not ready. The people in the game know you're not ready. Your bloody agent does not know you're not ready. Your agent knows one thing: how much money he can get in his pocket. Look at all these clubs that were supposedly interested. How many had actually made an offer? No. because he was touting names going, Hull's interested, Cardiff's interested. None of them were bloody interested. I think the best he could have got with a League Two loan. It'd have been better signing it and moving back down the pyramid. Anyway, getting back to the game, I thought it was a brilliant game. I thought it was one of the best games we played. I even agreed with Mick Mills at the end. I know it might have been a bit late for some people's eyes, but bringing a Luco on right towards the end, it was an attacking substitution.
Yes,
it showed intent. He didn't want 1 point. He'd rather try and get 3 points, even if it risked the three, even if it risked the point. To some it was probably a bit late, but it showed the intent. And I think even though we only got a point, it was a point away against the top three. It shows we're on the right path. And I look at it this way: we've been our journey's 7 months old. With McKenna, it's 2 months old.
Yeah.
Milton Keynes that's a 2-3 year project already. They've been building for 2 or 3 years under Russell Martin, under Liam Manning. We're way behind them. And you look at the Bristol Cities, you look at the Burnleys, you look at the Brentfords. We're years behind them. So we've made so much ground up in, let's just say, under Kieran McKenna, we've made so much ground in 2 months. What can we do in a year? And I just look at it that way. If we can make this much ground, what are we now? We haven't conceded in nearly 6 hours of football. That's unbelievable for a club, for our club. For the last 12 years, we're lucky if we went 2 games without conceding a goal. We're lucky if we went a game without conceding a goal. I mean, the best chance we had of conceding a goal where we had 0-0. Against Shrewsbury or Doncaster or something. It's so much more entertaining, and everybody seems to be pulling in the same direction. And I'm sorry, I just find even some fans who don't like me, they're actually encouraged by what's happening. You still get the odd dickhead, but they're actually encouraged about what's happening, and I've not seen that in a very long time. And I think, to be honest, we were all a bit sceptical when the takeover happened. But you can see things, and I'm really looking forward. I think there could be big changes in the forward line come the end of the season. And I think summer's the best time because you'll get the free agents, you'll get the players who want to leave. Yeah. Anybody who can score goals, you wouldn't get in January. So it was pointless to even look because those clubs just won't let them go. Even Ben Brayton at Blackburn, they weren't selling him in January because they need him. Yeah. So summer's the best time for it. And I think I'd be really interested to see the types of strikers that Kieran McKenna wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure we've got them. I think these are these are the ones he's got. That's why we've got a lot of rotation. He's not sure what to do with them. They're the ones he's got, and he wouldn't have got anything better in January. So I think he's going to make a plan for every game with the ones he's got. We're going to see some surprises like yesterday. And I think a lot of people overreacted a bit because I think there was a reasonable case for Jackson to play with his pairs. But I think come the end of the year, we're going to start seeing an idea of what Kieran McKenna actually does want. And I think that's going to be it now.
I think we are seeing it now, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. But I'm about in the forward line. I think at the moment, we know his defence. We know that's going to be, barring anybody going, which I don't think they will, that will be his defence for next year. You can probably pen in 6 or 7 names. You've got Chaplin, you've probably got Morsy, you've probably got Edmondson, Denassi and Walton, Wolfie. They're probably penned in. The rest of the names are up for grabs. And I think that's where he's going to be looking at.
Would you sign Bond, Stephen?
If the price got over 500, no. If we could get him for a decent fee, I'd sign him. Even if it's just backup, I'd sign him. But and if people are saying, well, QPR want millions, they won't want millions for him. If they go up, they'll want virtually nothing for him because they won't need him. They'll want him gone. They'll just if they get promoted to the Premier League, they won't need the money. They'll just want him gone. They might even allow a free transfer. I don't know. It depends on the deal. If we're talking over 500k, probably not, because we could probably get better.
Very good point. Because not so long ago, around Christmas, we was all going, well, would we shell out 3 million for Bond?
And to be fair, I'd rather him not score too many because if he started off on such a train, and it could be the point where it's because he's alone. and his future's still undecided. You know, I think Walton's improved since he signed his contract.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I think he's realised he's settled, his future's settled, he knows where he is, and he can focus just solely on his football. I think when you're a loan player, you know, I think that might be what's hampering Selena, because he's always been a bloody loan player. I think the only time he actually settled was at Swansea, and then he was only there for a year. You know, people like that, you're like a transient, you're like a vagrant. You know, you're always moving from club to club. You never settle. Sometimes you just need to settle, and that can affect your game so much, because all you're focusing on is your football. You're not focusing about whether, I don't know, I'm moving to another country next month or this, that, and the other, and you've got far too much to think about. And I think that could be affecting Bon. That could be affecting Selena. You know, is there a deal for Selena to be done? I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. I know he's got a fair bit in his contract. They ain't going up. They can't, if they can't afford to keep him this season, they can't afford to keep him next. Sooner or later, they're going to have to cut the losses. If there's a decent deal to be done, I'd go for it. Yeah, but you shake your head, Martin. He offers something. He offers that X factor, even if it's just that player on the bench to come on, to turn a game. You know, we saw it at Crewe. He can do it. You know, it could be a lot of reasons why he's not doing it. It could be the players he's playing with. Yeah. It could be the fact that he's a loan player. You know, we don't know. The club will know, and the club will find that out. If it's something that they can deal with, if it's something they can solve, you know, then they will do, and a deal will be done. If it's not, then it won't, and they'll get somebody else. But there's a lot of people we can look at, and I think there could be big changes, especially at the forward side of the field. But the future's bright. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
great. Absolutely, Stephen. We love you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. See you later. See you later, Stephen. Thank you ever so much. Mike the Fisherman. Don't know what the first bit's most to say, but Christmas Morsy was getting slated and Bond was the next Bent. Now Morsy is the next Holland and Bond's the next Leon Best.
We said Morsy could be the next Holland on the day he signed.
Fickle fans from Mike Fisherman. I like that. I do like that. Good points from Stephen, as always.
Yeah, really good.
I just don't like the talk of next year already. Because we had this with Paul Cook, and every year is different, is it not? Like, you don't know who's going to be moved on in the summer in terms of an active move on, but also someone who takes a fancy to the fact you've not conceded goals in X, Y, Z and thinks, well, George Edmondson, he'll do for me. Maybe even Christian Walton, he'll do for me. You know, we are a League One side and you can't stand in these players' way. It just, it's still here. And yesterday...
You can talk with optimism about next year because you can say, okay, we stay, you know, worst case scenario, we stay down. Then McKenna will be looking to see what kind of players, certainly the strikers, that he feels can score the goals that get us out. Or the best case scenario is we get promoted at Wembley, party time. We're in the Championship. Then, as you said, last season, Martin, you're then fishing in a different pond, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah,
you know?
I'm back where I was this time last year, where it's like, you know, I'm desperate to drag the club. You know, forward and promotion because I think, you know, so much more awaits the football team at a higher level. But I can see the merits of, you know, next year should be pretty good with all things that we're seeing. There's no doubt in it. McKenna's turned the ship around. We're playing how I thought we could play with this squad of players. Do you think yesterday some fans, I wouldn't say negative. I think these days, anytime you have an opinion that isn't somebody's opinion, it's you're negative. I disagree with that. I think you're seeing it in a different light. Do you think Oxford's result is why some fans are seeing it in a different light, because it is that opportunity to have really closed the gap, and we were the better team in the second half, Rich?
Look, I know Oxford lost, but you look, Plymouth won, and if you look at the number of games played, Martin. Plymouth 2 games in hand. If they win both of them, I think they'll go up to 59.
Yes.
So it's still a big ask to get in the playoffs. We've given ourselves a chance now, 5 points.
A good chance.
We really need the next two home games to get 6 points.
It's got to be 6. Yeah.
You know, it's got to be Burton and Cheltenham 2 wins, and then after that, you've got 2 very, very tough away games: Morecambe, Fleetwood. You got a long travel, and I know, like you said before about the away games, the northern games, we struggle. You're going to go out there, the weather's going to be shit. It's probably going to be raining. The pitches are not going to be good, and they are as desperate as for the points as we are, because they're both struggling down the bottom. So They won't be easy games. If we took 10 points from the next 4 games, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
10 points. If we took 10 points out of the next 4 games, I know we want to win them all.
I had 4 points in the next 10 games. I thought I'd bang my head off.
I know we want to win every single game. And they are games we can win. The 2 home games has to be 6 points.
Yes.
Okay, so
we can win both them games at Morecambe and Fleetwood, but I think if we got 4 points out of them 2 games, I think
you've got to win all of them. You've got Burton. There's no reason why you shouldn't be beating Burton, Cheltenham at home, as you say. But then you've got Fleetwood away.
We've said it before. We take these teams lightly and we come up with egg on our face. So just take the next game. But I'm just saying, if you got 10
one at a time,
10 out of 12, you'd be happy with that. That would be a good return. It might not be enough. It might not be enough with these other teams around us because we have got that 5-point gap to make up.
I've got 8 points over the next 4.
That would be nowhere near enough.
No, 2 home wins and 2 the draws at Morecambe and Fleetwood. Although I did say we'd lose in my little list. I did say lost to MK, so actually a point ahead. But so you're saying 3 wins and a draw. So we've got to go undefeated in the next 4 games, effectively.
I'm going to I'll ask you a question. Do playoff teams beat teams such as Fleetwood and Morecambe away? Do playoff teams beat those teams?
This is League One, and you know what the results are like.
I do.
You only have to look at Sunderland's games, the last few games. You look at Oxford yesterday. No, look, if we've got a chance for the playoffs, so have Bolton. Bolton have got a game in hand on us. They win that game, they go level with us. So we can't be writing Bolton off.
But Bolton are on a surge right now, aren't they?
They
took 6 points off us. Annoyingly.
You're not going to win every single game. That's for absolute sure. But we've kind of setting ourselves up to the point where you're going to have to go on some really solid miracle run, because then you've got Oxford obviously coming up. You've got Plymouth themselves coming up. You've got to put yourself in a really strong position against the weaker teams to then overtake those teams when you have the chance to play them. If you're still playing catch up, because at some point you're hoping to not only catch up but then put some distance between you and them. Otherwise, it's going to really go down to the wire. It may well do that anyway, but I don't want to be playing too much catch up when we're playing Plymouth.
It's very unpredictable, isn't it? I thought Oxford would probably beat Bolton yesterday, but
it's who's got the metal.
These next 4 games, it takes us. That'll be 10 games left of the season. Yeah. If we can, the next 2 games, if we can win both of them, there's probably going to be a couple of teams slip up somewhere along the way. If with 10 games to go, we're within 4 points, we're right in the mix. If it goes back up to 7, 8, then the games are going to run out.
Yeah,
real quick.
It's got to be touching distance. It's got to be 3 points. It's got to be 3 points, I would say.
But then you can flip it and say if you can come through the next 4 with 4 wins, it sets yourself up nicely for 2 really, on paper, tough home games in Lincoln and Portsmouth. Lincoln, who was obviously playoff semi-finalists, I think, last year. Pompey, who always
this year, though.
Who turns up, we'll see. But you don't want to go onto those 2 home games off the back of for 8 points, like Matt said. That would be, could you be looking to win both of those games? And you are anyway. But Portsmouth, they're a tricky side. You don't know, they're like Jekyll and Hyde. It's who turns up for Portsmouth.
Yeah.
They've got 2 games in hand. If they win them 2 games in hand, Portsmouth, they go 3 points outside the playoffs, and they've been in their forms all over the place. So it's just whoever can hold their nerve, because you get into them last 8 to 10 games, Matt. There's some weird results. There's not going to be many teams in the league without nothing to play for.
Absolutely. But we can do this as fans. As Greg said, thinking too far ahead, set you up for disappointment, 1 game at a time. That's what I'm sure Kieran McKenna will be, installing into the players. 1 game. Do not. That's all you've got. Treat it as a round, as a tournament. The time has really caught up with us. Have we got any goats?
Yeah.
We do. Right. Okay.
We told you. You've been on WhatsApp.
Okay, what have we got then?
I've got a double go. I've got a double FA Cup special go. So my first FA Cup, the first FA Cup one is the price of the tickets that Peterborough are charging for the Man City game. Now they've had a rethink.
Lumpy.
When they originally came out, I think it was on Thursday night. They've gone down by £6. So if you were a non-season ticket holder for Man City at home, an adult, 42 quid you're going to have to pay to go and sit in that shithole at London Road. It's a shithole, isn't it? We've all been there. And I think even an under 18 ticket was 29 quid.
Yeah.
So if you've got a family,
So you got a
family of 2 or 3 kids and you want to go, you fucking only about 120 quid. They've had a rethink. They've knocked 6 quid off. So season ticket holders 28, non-season ticket holders 36, which is still expensive, I think. I know they want to make some money, you know.
I think
That's
that's
a lot of money for
fine.
90 minutes, isn't it? 36 quid. Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Martin's happy.
Because
He's happy with
what
it.
it's
You don't
basically
think about
saying,
it,
if
Yeah,
you've been with
because-
us through the tough times, to the hard times, the good times, you're a season ticket holder, you're going to get it at a discounted rate. Normally, it would work out as season ticket holders pay 36, and because you're a new customer who want to try and attract you, you pay 25. That's normally how things like this work out, in my experience. This is actually quite nice. It's rewarding you for being a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
The only people paying more are the
Casuals.
City fans who are going to be turning up on the day.
They used to pay these big prices anyway. I thought the OAP one was like 28, 30 quid when it reached. Something like that.
So the senior now is 25 quid, or if you're a non-season ticket holder, it's 33 quid, which is that's expensive.
That is it.
Look, everything's going up.
Watch it on the telly.
So exactly. So off the back of this, part 2 of my goat is this is a midweek. FA Cup round 5 is being played in midweek. So I was listening last Sunday, Boreham Wood, fantastic result, beat Bournemouth.
Yeah.
There was a phone call on 606. This bloke was on there. Yeah, great. Went with my kids today, but I've got to get them out of school for the Everton away game. It's a Wednesday night. You've got to travel all the way to Merseyside. Do they ever stop and think about the supporters? No, they don't.
Sometimes.
Well, when?
It's ruled by television, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's ruled by the telly. I actually quite like the FA Cup midweek. There was an idea when I was at the FA that it would become a midweek competition that was floated around because they were trying to find a bit more of a USP for it. Under lights, everyone likes cup games, upsets, under lights. I haven't got no issue with it being midweek. But look, as Don King used to say, if you can't be on the scene, watch it on the screen. Don't have
I would
to go.
question.
Martin says that all the time. Don't have to go.
No. And I would question the need for that bloke to take his kid out of school. Why does he need to?
No, he doesn't.
Like the child's not going to have a
I know you don't go to the away game, and I take my kids.
No, because I get bloody ambushed by 6 thugs last time I went.
If I was a Boreham Wood fan and I had a couple of kids and I had the chance to go to Goodison to take my kids on a trip that you're never probably ever going to do again, and they're going to say, Dad, can we go to Goodison? No, you can't, because Martin is a boring bastard, and he said, no, you can't go.
No, I didn't schedule the game at that point in time. You'd say no, because Sky, is it on Sky?
I don't even know if it's been shown. I don't even know if it's been shown.
So then why is it at that time? That is a
it'd probably be on the red button. I think all games are on the red button, aren't they? Because that season when it was behind closed doors, we had the Portsmouth game was on, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
I don't think they all are, Rich.
You go, no, son, we're not going because on the red button we'll get a nice takeaway.
There you go, Matt Stannard.
At home.
His kids were screaming at him because he wouldn't let him go to Barrow.
If kids wanted to eat sweets all day long, would you let? Like, I'm not. No. There's no need. You can take it. There's no need. You said the guy who said he needs to take his kid out. They don't need to.
It's called memories, Martin. It's called memories. When we played Man United in the League Cup, my kids left school early.
I'm just bitter because I didn't go to Inter Milan at home because it was a school night. I'm just bitter, all right? Because it was a school night and we watched.
I would say Matt Stannard is a shining example of good parenting. Not going to that Barrow game, bloody awful. Just watching it on the telly.
Yeah, on BBC or ITV says Mark. I think we should all learn from Matt Stannard. Just learn from him. Everything he does, he always seems to be spot on with it. And he gets great seats. There he was. Bang. There's the Stannard family. Right. What's your goat?
My goat is driving instructors taking bookings during rush hour. Generally when I'm trying to get places. I'm on the school run, 8:30, school run going back, 3 o'clock. Got someone toddling along. They all got their masks on, toddling along, indicating about half an hour before they turn left. Annoying. What we need to get is either a window where they can only learn to drive. So it's got to be outside of rush hour all Sunday mornings. Then we all know. There's nothing worse than you running late and you've got the L thing and you've got the shitty little car and it's got the thing on the top, the big L plates. Do you know what I mean? There's too many people driving in this country anyway. I found this out yesterday when I was stuck on the, I can't remember where it was, M11 or something for about half hour.
We were waiting for you to get in the bloody ground because I had your ticket. My kids were, can we go in? When's Matt coming? He's still not here, is he?
Some old dear, she was okay, had crashed on the M11 and an ambulance was there and she was okay. But too much traffic. We don't need any more drivers. So driving instructors, annoying.
Adrak says, so why does the FA feel needs to be at midweek? Matt, that goat sung to me, says Milk Tray.
Yeah.
Who also says earlier in the chat, Morsy's a good player. Paul Bird, I've got to do a 2-round trip because Crunch as a kid want to go to Morecambe.
Well, actually, I'm working and he's going to pick up Ollie because Ollie wants to come. So well done, Budge.
Oh, good on him. All right, there you go. You've got the 2 goats. Let's
if you don't vote for me, don't be moaning when you're out and about this week and you're behind a learner. Going, bloody hell, wish I listened.
I haven't got a goat this week.
Really?
I haven't got no.
Just
no,
having.
Oh, he would have done earlier in the week, everyone, because he was really grumpy on the WhatsApp.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
You've chilled out since.
Well, I haven't got anything to be upset about. You know, it's Valentine's weekend. I've got some lovely brownies downstairs.
That's what I liked yesterday. The big screen. You wouldn't have seen this at home. The big screen. There was obviously some kind of deal going on for Valentine's Day at the Stadium MK. And they called it Valentine's Day, which I thought was very good. But my favourite advert on the screen yesterday was, have you ever thought about an exciting career in financial services? No.
Talking of which, thank you for the reminder. You lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you know you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, you can't earn. So basically, let Graham try and save you money because Woodpecker Mortgages and Income experts, they have a great range of products. They go from everything between first-time buyers, home mortgages, life insurance, income protection, home insurance. He's a Town fan. Graham, give him a call, give him an email, let him see if he can save you money. If he can't save you money, you've not lost anything. And if he can, there's more wedge to put in to the old YouTube memberships or Ko-Fi or whatever else you want to spend money on.
Do I get my name on the front screen now then?
Yes, that does have to be updated. It does.
Get me on there.
It does. Oh, Ben says, hang on, before I go any further, Woodpecker Mortgages, call Graham on 01636 337 447 or email Graham at woodpeckermortgages, all one word, .co.uk. You know, it makes sense. Right. Who doesn't love saving money? Just, you know.
We like spending money.
What are you doing, the old Phillips towers? Yeah. Ben got frisked into the ground, but still some managed to get a smoke.
Yes.
I tell you what, on that note, before we bring in the goat to finish off the show, we've got to do your crunching tackle, Rich, because that's a smoke bomb.
Just a quick one. Massive shout out to Needham Market yesterday. Into the last 8 of the FA Trophy, 1-0 home win against Dartford.
Nice. Good.
Fantastic for local football.
Right. Just down got to be quick because I'm dying on me backside here.
Get it on.
I feel like
this is a great crunching tackle.
Out.
This is all about, like Ben said, getting frisked. And it's incredible because how this guy, we've probably all seen it. This was off David Johnson's ex-Town, off his Twitter feed. Now, this was at Blackburn in the week. At the end of the game, they just won 2-0. And look at this.
Look at that. He's got a speaker. How did he get where did he hide that?
Anything to declare? Fucking, I do not know how he got that in.
There was a famous incident in the San Siro once when I think it was Inter fans got the so they launched a moped off the top tier of the San Siro.
Well, what about when
into the ground?
Where did he hide?
Madrid? Was it when Madrid played at Barcelona and they threw the pig's head at Figo?
At Figo, pig's head, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Is that a speaker in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? No, fucking great big thing.
It was comical yesterday because Rich, where we were, wasn't it? It was a big 3, wasn't there, over the top of the away entrance, and Rich was going, "Which side of the 3?"
It was absolutely mobbed. But and talking about getting frisked, Ben Moore, you might have got frisked, but some of them I see, and when they're patting down, it was embarrassing.
Seen that?
Yeah, literally like that. In you go. It's like that. The video that was on Twitter a few months back.
The old guy.
With the old guy going next.
I don't think.
I don't like being frisked. Don't touch me. I don't want to be touched.
You don't like much, do you?
Well, they did allow me to have my top on my water, didn't they, Rich? They said they felt like I wasn't any kind of like risk to throwing it on the pitch.
Do you like yourself? You know, do you like sort of allow yourself to have fun?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I feel like I
not much else.
Talking about having fun yesterday, it was a great incident in the second half with that old boy, wasn't it? He was sat up near us, this old boy. The lino, I don't know what the lino given a throw-in or a free kick.
Yeah.
He's jumped over 3 rows of seats. Yeah. He's gone over that way, down the front, and then he's just stood there, and he didn't give him any abuse. No, he's run all that way.
Yeah, it was funny that.
For what?
Right.
I was having fun yesterday when I reached.
Yeah.
I felt like
good day out. It was a good day out.
Good.
I was singing
along,
singing.
Let's round off the show with the oracle of all knowledge.
Those at home. Good day out yesterday before he got in the ground.
Let's see how long it takes him to mention Sir Bobby and mention Sonny Aluko. We are currently on 111. Let's see how long it takes him to mention those 2 players. It is, of course, the GOAT, Colin Plum. Welcome in, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Gov, Matt, Rich, how are we? All right?
Yeah, okay, thank you. How did you enjoy yesterday?
First thing I've got to say, right, me and Rich had a little chat on the way home. And that man today, look, he's spot on. I said to Rich on the way home, or on my 2 miles per hour way home.
What time did you get home anyway, Colin?
At Tesco's Berry about 8 o'clock, mate.
Oh, you've done all right.
Not too bad.
You didn't think he was going to get back for match of the day, Matt.
Anyway, like we were saying yesterday, Rich, and I said to you about those next 4 games, I did say to you, didn't I? And we totally agreed with each other. 10 points out of 12. I think the boys spot on. Can we get, like Gov said, can we get 12 out of 12? Yes, we can. Would I be happy with 10 out of 12? Yes, I would. And I think most people would. Yesterday, look, Rich spoke. Actually, I was speaking to Ian about what Rich was saying the other day about the Doncaster game and the atmosphere. Now, I know what it's like, and me and Ian were saying the same. Ian was saying about at Fleetwood the other year, which I didn't go to, and Ian was saying exactly the same thing, Rich, in agreement with you that. I think it was about 1,200 at Fleetwood, if you remember. And he said it was banging, it was brilliant, and we get what you're saying, Rich. And I get what you're saying. But I've got to applaud, not myself, although I was pretty loud. Always like to be, because I like to get behind the boys.
You had 5 pints, that's why you were loud.
No, I'm loud if I've had 2 shandies, mate. I like to get behind my team. And I'll tell you what, the acoustics in the MK Stadium, first time I've been there, shout out to MK. That is a great stadium. One of the best newish stadiums I've been to. The acoustics in that stadium is brilliant. And what I mean by that, we was loud yesterday. And I think Rich will agree with that. It did go all the way round, as opposed to, like Rich was saying Friday, it can be a bit here, a bit there, a bit here, a bit there. But it was good yesterday. And I'll tell you what, if we go back there in the semi-final, like Matt quite rightly said, that could happen. And I'll tell you what, if they give us another 8,000, which they might do in the semi-final, my God, that'll sound like Wembley with our lot. But yeah. I've got to say, like I said to Rich yesterday, I didn't think they were brilliant yesterday, MK Dons. But I'll tell you, I will say one thing for them. They played the game the right way. They're good footballing side. They played the game they'd be even better if they had a decent pitch. But, you know, they do it the right way. You know, they could obviously do with a lot more back. And if I think they've had a lot more backing behind them, I think they'd be flying up this league, to be fair. But they don't get the backing. That's not their fault. Good young manager. Play the game the right way.
Too bad. They're third in the table.
No, absolutely right. But like Mark was saying earlier, quite rightly, and we was talking about it going home. He was looking in the program, you know, and their next 4 or 5, 6 games are stiff. I'll tell you, if they come out of all of them on the right side, you know, there'll be a big shout for going up. But they've got some really, really demanding games over this next month. And like I said to you, Gov, last night, having seen in the car last night those next 4, 5, 6 games they've got, and seeing the next 4 or 5 games we've got, I think if we look at this, I weren't having a go at you, Gov, I never do that. If we look at this table about this time in March, I think we're gonna be quite happy on how it's going. I really believe that. I know everybody says, Colin, you say it all the time, but I'm trying to be realistic with myself here. I think we're in a good place. We've got I'll tell you what another thing about Kieran McKenna yesterday, we went in the ground quite early-ish. And when I first went in the ground, there's only probably about 500 Ipswich fans in the ground, or maybe 600, 700. And Kieran McKenna came out, a big shout out to him, to look at the pitch, obviously, and get a little grip of what's going on. And like I say, there was hardly any Town fans in the ground at that particular time. 500 or 600. He still made it. He came over. Little clap to the Ipswich fans, 400 or 500 who were in the ground at that time.
He knew you were in. That's why he came out.
I haven't spoken to the lad yet, and I'll tell you what, Rich, I'm itching to have a chat with him, because, like I said, after 1 or 1.5 games, I'll tell you what, a big shout out to Mark Ashton, because I'll tell you what, he's arguably, apart from that lad in between our sticks, I think one of the best signings we've made in a long while. And I know Matt Phillips will agree with that. Matt, no, sorry, Matt. I remember your words. Your words were, I think we struck gold with him. And I'll tell you what, you was the first person to say that. And I applaud you for that, because I'll tell you what, I said after about 1 or 2 games that a minuscule bit of him at that time.
Get ready.
Shoot me.
Get ready.
A little bit of Sir
It's taking him
Bobby
6
Robson. I love Kieran McKenna. I'll tell you what, every bit about him just oozes quality. Everything he does is quality, Rich. You, Gov, Matt. He just oozes quality, the bloke. He really does. And I'll tell you what, I hope I hope and pray. I really hope and pray he stays with our football club for a long while, because Kieran's at the wheel.
Kieran's at
the wheel.
When we had the view,
I love him. I love him.
Well, when we had the view yesterday, you could also see Martin Pert as being a real strong presence on the touchline. I mean, you remember when Lambert first came into the club, and he was like that whirling dervish, I called it, on the sidelines. Martin Pert plays that role. I think he's obviously, you know, the two come together, don't they? You know, we've got McKenna's calm assurance and that tactical brain and all that. I think the real kind of the real motivation's coming from Pert. Really good.
Yeah.
Good duo.
And do you think, Gov, on the back of that, Matt, do you think, Gov, that was the main thing, obviously, that do you think that was the one thing that Paul obviously was missing, and his stubbornness cost him his job because of that?
Yeah, I do. I think the coaching team around him weren't as good as it needed to be. And he was stubborn. I mean, didn't he say in his press conference to Chesterfield? I think it might have been a joke, but he said 4-2-3-1. I think he said it with a big laugh and a smile. But look, he seemed almost predetermined just to keep working on the 4-2-3-1, and it was going to work and fit, and that's his style. And whereas McKenna, I think he's played a whole host of formations. So you're a positive chap. We'll talk about those 4 games coming up.
I'll try to be.
Is it a waste of my time to ask if you're going to win all 4? Because are you going to say yes, or do you genuinely think that? What do you think about the next 4?
I'm going to be totally honest here, Gav. Like Rich, obviously the next 2 home games, I know we keep saying it all the time, but they must win. And I think we will win both of those games, even if they're 1-0, 2-1. I think we'll win both of those games. The next one after that is,
Morecambe and Fleetwood.
Morecambe away. Like Ipswich said, that will be difficult, like on a difficult surface and whatever. I think, I think we could. I think we can win that. I mean, that might be close. Out of the 2 away games, the Morecambe and the Fleetwood games, I think possibly Morecambe will be just a tad little bit more difficult. I would like to think, although it's an awful surface, when you think about their results this year, which I think Morecambe's have been slightly better, I think I'd go for maybe 2-0 at Fleetwood win, and I'm gonna be as positive as I can for everybody. I'll go for possibly a 1-0 or 2-1 win at Morecambe, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-1. So yeah, I'm going 10/12 points, but I'd probably go more on the side of 10 points out of 12, and I would be happy with that.
Perfect. Right. Well, we know Rotherham have helped us out today. Obviously, Accrington Stanley play Wednesday before we play again, so hopefully that can also be of help.
By the way, just a quick shout out to Newcastle today. I watched at the corner of my eye. Newcastle got a penalty awarded to them. The referee gave a penalty. They'd under VAR, obviously, and it was a foot on a foot, and they showed it as just outside the area. So I had a free kick, and Kieran Trippier scored from a free kick. Get in, you Norwich little boys.
Absolutely right.
What's it this week, Colin? What's coming up Friday? You told me yesterday.
Yes, it's Sir Bobby's drink, Sir Bobby's birthday, and mine as well.
What birthday to share?
I share my birthday with Sir Bobby.
Brilliant.
Which I'm really, really pleased about. And when I first found out that, when I was not that old, I was probably about 11 or 12 when I first found out. So I shared me 13 or 14 when I shared my birthday with Sir Bobby. That was one of the best things I've ever heard, really. Ever been told, you know, and I kind of dined out on all my life sport and town, really, you know, because when you think about anybody who's connected with Ipswich Town Football Club, it's probably nobody better apart from Sir Alf to share your birthday with. So, absolutely. Yeah, I love the thought, and I'll put some flowers on.
Colin.
No. I'll put some flowers on Sir Bobby's statue at the Burton game, and from a goat, and simple as that. I love the man. I will always love the man. I love the club, and he was part of my life, all my supporting life, young, and you know, and I loved him even when he was England manager. Probably as much as when he was town manager, and I always look up at that bit when we're at the statue. And I always look at that a bit above the club shop there. I think that's beautiful. You know, whoever thought about that bit above the club shop, that massive, great picture of Bobby. I'll tell you what, that was so well done. That was, and you know, I think that probably was as well done that bit above the shop as a statue, to be perfectly honest. It's just lovely. It's a lovely little smile on his face, and I think we look up at that and we think to ourselves, God, come on, let's get back to those days for the young uns and Rich's children, Matt's stand-up children. Let's get back to them days. Come on, let's do it.
We love you.
We're not out of this. We're not out of it. Never, ever.
Enjoy your Valentine's Day with your good lady wife. Look after yourself.
Also, by the way, it's Andrew's birthday tomorrow as well. On Valentine's Day.
The mini go. Andrew. Colin, look after yourself.
See you, Colin.
Love you, Gav. Love you, Rich. Love you, Matt.
Take care. I'm going to have to sort of go, really, because I'm dying on my ass here. I feel so ill.
You've done well, Martin, to get through. Well done, mate.
I'm literally a bit short of breath there.
No staying up to watch the Super Bowl.
No chance. No.
Oh, we've lost you. Your sound gone? Yeah. End the show. We've had a great time. It's almost an hour and a half. We'll see you next time.
You pulled out that lead. He's muted himself. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Your sound's gone.
Press
oh, well. Tune in tomorrow, everybody.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back.